Welcome to Behind the Recipe. I'm your host, Christina Hitchcock. Join me every week as we deep dive into the joys of cooking, explore kitchen tips and tricks, and share delicious recipes that will inspire your next meal. So whether you're a seasoned cook or just learning your way around the stove, there's something here for everyone. So let's get cooking. Today, I'm talking all about chili. My family loves chili. It's one of the first recipes my guys ask me to make as soon as the air starts to take on a little bit of a chill. So let's kick things off with a little chili history. Chili or chili con carne, which means chili with meat, has a debated origin story. And I really loved researching for this because I found out so many great things. But while many people associate chili with Texas, some food historians suggest it was inspired by Spanish or Mexican culinary traditions. Now, legend has it that Spanish missionaries brought chili to the Americas, combining native chili peppers with different meats and spices. Texas, however, made chili its own, and today it's the official state dish. Now, fun fact, traditional Texas chili has no beans. Yep, not a bean in a Texas chili. To some purists, adding beans or even tomatoes is blasphemy. But as we know, cooking is as much about adapting recipes to your personal taste as it is about following tradition. So feel free to go ahead and make it your own. So here's the big question. Is there a right way to make chili? And the answer really depends on who you ask. So, as we said, Texans are very passionate about their chili, and in its purest form, it's all about the meat and spices. Traditional Texas chili doesn't have beans, like we talked about earlier, or tomatoes or other fillers. It's simply beef simmered in a rich, spicy chili paste made from dried chilies and seasonings like cumin and garlic. And to them, the focus is on the deep, smoky flavors and a real velvety texture. And of course, good old-fashioned Texas beef. Then you have Cincinnati chili, a completely different take. Cincinnati chili is thinner and usually it's served over spaghetti, almost like a sauce. It's a unique flavor that comes from unexpected ingredients like cinnamon, allspice, even some cocoa powder. And it's often topped with shredded cheddar, chopped onions, and oyster crackers. So Cincinnati chili fans might argue that it's the quirky blend of sweet and savory spices that really makes it the best. Now, for those who don't eat meat or prefer a lighter dish, vegetarian chili or bean chili is a fantastic alternative. So beans like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, they really take center stage, providing the protein and hardiness. And vegetables like sweet potatoes, mushrooms, or even corn will add depth and texture. And the best part is you can pile on the spices just as you would with any meat-based chili and really play up with those flavors. So I got to ask, have you ever heard of green chili? So this hails from New Mexico, and this chili is made with green hatch chilies and pork. And the result is a tangy, spicy, and aromatic dish with a completely different flavor profile from the traditional red chili counterparts. And this is often enjoyed as a stew or smothered over burritos and enchiladas. It sounds amazing. Now, then we have the lighter, creamier alternative, which is white chicken chili. And this is where white chicken, it really skips the tomato base in the flavor and replaces it with the flavor of chicken stock and white beans and green chilies. And it's often finished with either cream or Greek yogurt to give it that nice, creamy, velvety finish. Now, of course, today's chefs are constantly reimagining this classic dish, and we get everything from chili mac to chili-inspired dips and baked potatoes. The dish is endlessly versatile. So, is there a right way to make chili? Well, that really depends on your own personal taste and traditions, and whether you're team beans or no beans, tomatoes or no tomatoes. But what matters most is just creating a dish that you love and enjoy. And really, the beauty of this lies in its adaptability. So, if you want to feel better about indulging in this classic comfort food, let's talk a little bit how to make it a little bit healthier. So, chili is naturally a wholesome dish, but there are plenty of ways to make it even lighter without compromising on flavor. So, here's some simple tips and tweaks that you can work into your recipe. So first we can swap in lean meats or even plant-based options. So swapping out the fattier cuts of beef with lean ground turkey or chicken can provide protein with fewer calories and less saturated fat. Now, if you're a plant-based eater, you can add in beans or lentils or even crumbled tofu can make a great substitute for meat. And things like chickpeas and black-eyed peas are also great protein-rich alternatives. Now, of course, you can load up on vegetables. And the more vegetables you add, the more nutrients your chili will pack. So consider stirring in diced bell peppers or zucchini, carrots, celery, even cauliflower rice is a great thing to add in. Sweet potatoes and butternut squash can really add an extra natural sweetness and some extra fiber too. Of course, you can reduce the sodium. You store-bought chili seasoning packets and canned ingredients can be loaded with extra salt. The taco and chili seasoning, yeah, chili seasoning, not taco seasoning. Wrong topic. The chili seasoning recipe I have on It Is a Keeper is a lower slash no sodium option that you can use. So I love it and use it all the time. You can also opt for low sodium or no sodium broth and stocks. You can, of course, cook your own beans. Uh, that's really like the best way to cut the sodium out is to stop relying on the store-bought things and do stuff at home. Healthy fats, right? We can, instead of relying on cheeses and sour creams for creaminess, you can add diced avocado or a dollop of Greek yogurt. Both add creaminess and they have the healthier fats and probiotics in them. Then you can serve your chili over things like whole grains, like quinoa or brown rice, or even farro to add some fiber and complex carbohydrates and to really beef up beef up the hardiness that these grains offer. And they really help make the meal more satisfying for you. Of course, when you're cooking your meats, make sure you're draining off any excess fat. Um, and use a non-stick pan to cut down on the amount of fat you have to use when cooking it. The next thing is really all about portion control. I want you to think about like all the toppings that we pile on top of our chili, cheese and chips and sour cream. They're wonderful and I love them all, but they can really add a lot of extra calories really fast. So either swap them for healthier options or you just use them more sparingly. And you can add things like scallions or fresh cilantro or even a sprinkle of nutritional yeast for a different type of topping. And of course, rely on boosting flavor with herbs and spices instead of fat and salt. So things like oregano and thyme can really add some depth, while spices like paprika and chipotle powder can add some depth. One of the things I love to add to my chili is a little bit of chili and adobo that you get in the can. Now, little goes a long way, but it adds a nice heat, but with a smoky undertone. I just love it. Now, the key is really finding the balance between healthier choices and really maintaining the heartiness that makes chili so satisfying. Now, we all know chili is great on its own, but there are some classic and creative pairings that you can serve with your chili to take it to the next level. So let's start with the sides. Number one, and I can't not say this, is cornbread. It's classic. That slightly sweet, crumbly texture is perfect to pair with the spice and heartiness of chili. You can try adding jalapenos or shredded cheddar to your cornbread just to give your batter that like extra kick. Rice and quinoa are great for serving with chili, right? You can pour the chili right over top of it to make it more filling and soak up the flavor and give it that nice textural contrast. And of course, we have tortilla chips and crackers. These are great for scooping chili, or you can crumble them on top for added crunch. Oyster crackers are another fun option, especially if you're really leaning into that Cincinnati style chili vibe. My husband likes to top his with my spicy ranch crackers. He crushes them up and sprinkles them on top. Of course, then we have salads. They make a great pairing with chili. They're crisp, and the tangy vinaigrette can really balance the richness of chili. Or like a simple coleslaw with shredded cabbage and carrots and maybe a cilantro lime dressing would be great with this as well. Loaded baked potatoes are a fantastic side, and it's a great way to turn your chili into a topping for baked potatoes. You can add cheese and sour cream and all your favorite toppings, or use tater tots. Kids love them. So just as you would with a baked potato bar with your chili, line up the tater tots and pile the toppings on top of that. Corn on the cob is another classic pairing. Whether you grill it or boil it, brush it with a little butter or chili lime seasoning or tahine. It's really a seasonal favorite that pairs beautifully with chili. That sweetness from the corn is just perfect. So, what's the best thing to wash down chili? Well, in my opinion, a beer goes great with it. I like a nice lager. That's my favorite. You can do IPAs because their bitterness will like cut through the richness of the chili, or a stout, maybe with its malty flavor, really complements the smoky and spiciness. With if you're gonna go wine, you want like a full-bodied red to really stand up to the bold flavor, or maybe even like a semi-sweet Riesling if white is more your speed, because it gives a nice contrast to the spice. Of course, a margarita is classic. Come on. And if you want non-alcoholic options, maybe like a sparkling water with lime, iced tea, or an agua fresca with things like watermelon or cucumber lime can really offer like that cooling part. And then, of course, we have to bring this whole thing home with some dessert. So I like to finish a chili meal with something citrusy, because I think it really helps cut the richness of the chili. So something like a sorbet with like a lemon or a lime or an orange flavor. I love anything orange flavored. Great for cleaning your palate. Chocolate goes great with chilies. Of course, if you want to keep along that Tex-Mex thing, you can go with churros or sopapillas, apple pie or crisp, or even cinnamon rolls. I know it sounds unconventional, but especially in some regions in the Midwest, it's really a beloved combination. The sweet, fluffy cinnamon rolls balancing with the spice of the chili. But no matter what pairing you choose, the key is to balance those bold, rich flavors from the chili with lighter complementary sides, desserts, and drinks. So I know I talked a lot about chili now, and I'm really craving it. So what is your favorite chili and what do you serve with it? I love to hear this. So leave me a comment. Let me know. I love to know what others are making. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Behind the Recipe. I hope you enjoyed our conversation about chili and picked up some inspiration for your next meal. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and go ahead and please leave a review and share it with your friends. And I'd love, love, love to hear from you. So send me your questions, your recipe ideas, or even just feedback about the show. Head over to itisakeeper.com/BTR for Behind the Recipe. And until next time, happy cooking. And remember, everything's better when shared in the kitchen.